Who's with me today? Scott Martin, John Layfield, Susan Lee, and Ashley Webster. I'm going to start with interest rates. And Scott, to you first. Is this good news for the economy that rates are rising because the economy is strong, or is it bad news for the market because rates are rising? Which is it?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. That's why you're so good. Listen, I think it's good. And listen, this is going to be even a worse answer. It's good and bad. It's good because we need to get back more towards normal rate environment, which is probably, say, 4 or so % on the 10-year Treasury note, given that GDP is around 4%. It's bad news, though, Stuart, if this is a market that I believe was rallying, at least at the beginning of the year, on a lot of liquidity. And that liquidity is starting to dry up. It's starting to get a little bit more expensive to create capital, to borrow, and things that companies have been doing all these years with rates so low. So it is good that rates are going up. It's just they can't go up too fast because that could choke off economic growth.
I mean, it's a healthy economy. That's what we're reflecting here. So to Scott's point, he's right, good and bad. U.S. equities will start getting more competition after a while and people who save money can actually get money back with interest.
Now, wait a second. When we got that, I'm going to call it a wishy-washy answer from Scott Martin.
It was.
And Susan Lee sitting there was shaking her head and laughing at this. So, is it good news
for the
economy? Wait. Is it good news and signals that the economy is expanding, or is it bad news and the market will take it on the chin?
I think it's good news because, okay, I'm looking at historical precedents, right? And the year after the midterms, it hasn't been a down year since 1946. Usually the best year in a 4-year cycle for the S&P. So for me, the trend is upwards, and earnings will prove that once again this quarter and probably for the next as well.
Okay, well, there you have it. Okay, dramatic stuff, first thing of all.
That, Scott.
Barnes & Noble may be putting itself up for sale. John, would you buy? A lot of investors are buying this thing at up 25% right now. Would you buy Barnes & Noble?
Absolutely not. It's got a 10% yield. It's huge, but the trend is against these guys. They have a poison pill they're trying to put in place. There's been a lot of unsolicited buying going on. They can't figure out who it is. So they're trying to prevent a hostile takeover is what they're trying to do. But the trend is against these guys. It's so much better to read, easier to read an e-book. Physical books are being done away with like the dinosaur. I don't like the trend.
There you go. Now, clean-cut answer from Layfield there. That's good stuff. Let's go back to Scott, see what we can do on this one. Sears is going to close 11 stores. The first closure will be at a Kmart in Poughkeepsie, New York, 2 days before Christmas. Scott.
Merry Christmas.
Are you prepared to pull the plug on Sears and say they're done?
Yeah, this pretty much ruined my holiday plans, I'll tell you that much. But you know what's funny, Stuart, is much like Barnes & Noble, I didn't even know these guys are even still open. So I guess that's news to me. Look, John's right. You know, a lot of these brick-and-mortar retailers that have just fallen behind the curve. So you look at Penny's, you look at Sears, you look at Barnes & Noble. You got to avoid these guys. You got to go with those big online retailers that we talk about so much, Walmart's, Amazon's. That's where our money is.